The Tata Altroz. A great car to look at, beautiful ride and handling, but the enthusiast in me always root to the fact that it never had a potent engine to exploit all the potential. But Tata seems to have an answer with the Altroz iTurbo. I love driving, and obviously I want to tell you how this car is to drive because it's got a new turbo engine. But I know most of you people also want to know what are the changes on the Altroz. So just for you, I'm going to start with that first. So you better subscribe. So on the outside, the Altroz looks exactly the same, except there are three changes. The first one, this car now comes in a top-end XZ Plus variant, in which you get a contrasting black roof as standard. The second one is the Harbor Blue new color. It looks cool, right? And the third change is the iTurbo badge, in which I stand for intelligent. And according to Tata, they call it intelligent because this engine was tuned for the Altroz. Isn't that obvious? So, there are quite a few changes on the inside, but they are more related to the addition of the top-end XZ Plus variant. So in this variant, you get leatherette upholstery, you also get connected car tech with 27 different features, which include geofence alerts, overspeeding alert, and a lot more. Other than that, you also get a smart key. Basically, it's a band which you can wear and leave the key at home or inside the car, which is great, especially when you go to play some sports or when you go jogging. In this car, you also get a feature called Express Cool. So for example, if your car is parked under the sun and on the inside it's baking hot, all you have to do is press this button, the window opens and the AC runs at full blast to cool down the cabin as quickly as possible. Now the last feature I want to talk about is really cool. Now, most cars now get voice commands, but the Altroz is a little different. So, this understands Hindi as well. Radio chalao.
Zarur playing FM.
This feature is really cool and it works really well. So, finally, I'm going to get driving. And if you want to know more about this car's features, comfort levels, quality, then click on the pop-out banner to watch our first drive review where Karthikeya has explained everything in detail. So apart from the feature edition, this car also gets two drive modes. Now, you might say, yes, even the 1.2-litre naturally aspirated engine also gets drive modes. Yes, it does. Where in the naturally aspirated engine car, you get City and Eco. In this car, Eco is replaced by
Sport drive mode activated.
Sports. So before we get to how this car feels from behind the wheel, let's talk numbers. So this car is powered by a 1.2-litre turbocharged petrol engine, so yes, it has a displacement advantage as compared to its rivals. But surprisingly, it makes less amount of power and considerably low amount of torque. And considering that this is one of the heaviest car in its class, it's not surprising at all. It is also the slowest turbocharged petrol engine car. But still, 11.9 seconds to 100 is not slow, especially when you compare it to the naturally aspirated version of this car, which is in the region of 18 seconds to 100 kilometers per hour. That difference is massive, and you start feeling it from the second you start driving it. So considering this car is the slowest amongst the turbo hatchbacks, it won't be much fun, right? Wrong. This engine has loads of mid-range punch, and not only that, even at the top around 4,800 RPM, there's a big step up where this engine pulls even harder. But unfortunately, this push doesn't last too long because this engine redlines at just 5,800 RPM, which is quite low by petrol engine standards. But still, the added performance also means you can finally exploit the full potential of this wonderful chassis. So now in the Altroz, you can not only carry a lot of corner speed, you can also exit corners with a wide smile on your face. So, thanks to the added engine performance, driving the Altroz, be it down a cart or driving up a steep one, is a lot of fun. But what spoils the fun somewhat is the gear shift. It is fine when you're shifting in a relaxed manner, but as soon as you want to make that quick shift to exit that corner quickly, it struggles a bit, especially when you're shifting from third to second. So now clearly we have established that the Altroz is fun to drive. But how is it when you tone it all down? Say for your daily city commutes? Well, it is surprisingly good. Even in city mode, this car has more than enough power, especially while driving at low speeds. Yes, being turbocharged, there is a bit of a turbo lag till 2000 RPM. But even over there, this engine feels responsive enough and doesn't really force you to make a downshift. This makes driving the Altroz in city limits or at low speeds really easy. Even out on the highway, the added performance makes your life so much easier. There's loads of grunt, it cruises really well, and even when you want to make a quick overtake, you can always press this button
Sport drive mode activated.
and use the extra performance to do it easily. What could have been better with this engine is refinement. Sure, below 3000 RPM, it feels refined enough and smooth enough. But anything above that, this engine starts getting vocal, and near the red line, it sounds a bit harsh. So finally, the Altroz gets the engine it always deserved. The added performance not only makes the Altroz more fun to drive, but also makes it a much better everyday car. We expect Tata to price the iTurbo around $1 lakh more as compared to the normal version of the car. So, is it worth the money? Oh, absolutely yes, and it's a no-brainer considering the added performance. So, was this engine the only missing piece to complete the Altroz's puzzle? Well, almost. It's still missing an automatic transmission, but thankfully, there's a DCT on its way. I just hope that Tata doesn't make us wait for it for too long.